We have all had moments when we sit quietly and wonder, why is this happening to me? Life can feel heavy when things go wrong, and it can feel unfair when our efforts seem wasted. But if you are patient and look deeper, you may see that the same events you curse today could be the very ones that protect you tomorrow. This story might change how you look at everything you are going through right now. So stay with me until the end. In a small desert village lived a widow named Layla. Her life was never easy. Her husband had passed away when their only son, Karim, was just a little boy. Since then, Layla had done everything to keep their small home and piece of land. She owned a few goats and one strong, loyal donkey named Rafiq. Rafiq was not just an animal to Layla. He was her companion, and the only helper she had to plow the land and carry goods. Karim adored him too. Together, the three of them worked every morning, often under the scorching sun, just to get enough food for the day. One afternoon, a wealthy merchant traveling through the village saw Rafiq and was impressed by his strength and obedience. He offered Layla a big sum of money to buy the donkey. The villagers encouraged her to accept. Layla, you will finally have enough money to fix your roof, buy clothes for Karim, and live in comfort, they said. But Layla refused. She smiled politely and said, "Money will come and go, but without Rafiq, how will I work the land?" The villagers shook their heads and said she was foolish for letting such an opportunity pass. A week later, Layla woke up to find that Rafiq had disappeared. His footprints led toward the desert, but there was no sign of him. Layla and Karim searched until the evening, calling his name, but he never came. When the villagers heard the news, they whispered among themselves, "See, if Layla had sold him, she would have been rich. Now she has lost everything." Karim was heartbroken. He sat beside his mother and asked, "How can you stay calm? Without Rafiq, we cannot plow. We cannot survive." Layla placed a gentle hand on his shoulder and said, "My son, we cannot decide so quickly what is good and what is bad. Time will show us." Karim did not understand, but he stayed quiet. 3 days later, something incredible happened. Rafiq came back, and he was not alone. Behind him were 3 wild donkeys that had followed him home. The villagers were amazed. "Layla is so lucky," they said. "She lost 1 donkey and got 3 more." But Layla did not celebrate too much. She only smiled and said, "Whether this is truly a blessing or a test, we will see in time." Karim was excited and started training the wild donkeys. Day after day, he worked to make them gentle enough to plow and carry loads. But one afternoon, while trying to train the strongest one, Karim was thrown off and fell badly. His arm broke, and he screamed in pain. This time the villagers shook their heads and said, "See? Those donkeys brought nothing but trouble. Layla should have never kept them." Karim cried that night and said, "Mother, this time something truly bad has happened. We cannot call this good." But Layla replied softly, "Even now, we cannot know. Good or bad, only time can tell." Weeks later, news spread that soldiers were passing through the region. They were taking every able-bodied young man to fight in a war. The sound of crying filled the village as families watched their sons being taken away. But when the soldiers saw Karim's broken arm, they spared him. "He cannot fight," they said. Months passed, and news came that many of the young men had not returned. The war had taken their lives. The entire village mourned. Karim turned to his mother with tears in his eyes. "Mother, I understand now. If I had not fallen, they would have taken me too. My broken arm saved my life." Layla smiled through her tears and said, "Yes, My son. This is why we must never lose patience in pain and never lose ourselves in moments of happiness. What feels bitter today may save you tomorrow, and what feels sweet today may bring challenges later. Life is never simple. What happens today may hurt, but one day you may thank God for it. What makes you happy today may also test you later. So when life feels unfair, remember this: do not let pain break you, and do not let success blind you. Wait, trust, be patient. Everything will pass, and everything will reveal its purpose in time. And when you finally look back, you will see that every moment, good or bad, was shaping you for something greater.